Hey guys, this is Vicki DeLuzio, and I have Jana Tingom from Phoenix with Kids, and we've known each other for a couple of years. We met in the blogging circle, and then I found out that we have a lot in common, like a lot in common,
Yes.
a lot, yeah. And so we both blog about things to do with kids, and we both homeschool. So Jana, would you like to introduce yourself and tell people about you?
Sure. Yeah, my name's Jana. I'm married to my husband, Chris. We have 3 kids, an 8-year-old, 5-year-old, and an 18-month-old. We live in Scottsdale. Love exploring Phoenix, just love doing things together, bike riding, coffee shops. Well, not so much now, but yes, when life is normal, that's what we enjoy doing.
Yeah.
Traveling, just hiking. I don't know. Phoenix is a great place, and we love exploring it, and we love sharing it with anyone who will listen.
Yeah, and so your husband and my husband both do web stuff.
Yes.
So that's kind of where our first similarity started. We both found out that our husbands are deep into the web domain,
Yes.
to use that pun lightly, I guess you could say. And then I come from Connecticut. You're from Wisconsin.
Wisconsin. Mm-hmm.
So we're both from the north. That was
Yes.
one similarity. We both wear size 10 shoes. That
Yes.
was another one. And we both have glasses.
Yes.
And when I first met you, you only had 2 kids, but then
That's right.
Then you wanted to be like me and you added a third.
Yes, exactly.
But you go girl, boy, girl. I go boy, girl, boy.
Yeah.
So we broke the mold on that one, but it's okay.
But I mean, other things like, I don't know, just homeschooling style, or I don't know,
Yes.
just little things have popped up. Oh, I like that too. And add it to the list of similarities.
Yes, we have a list. So, and my oldest is 10, and then my daughter is just turned 8, and then my youngest is 7. So our kids are a little bit different in age, but we're pretty close. I don't have the toddler anymore, thank God. Sorry.
No, it's tough. It's tough. I know.
So I'm kind of glad I had them all really close together. You have a little separation.
Little space. Yeah.
And so you've been in the Valley a little bit longer than I have. When did you guys get here again?
Yeah, my husband is a native. He was born and raised in Scottsdale.
Okay.
He lived in St. Louis for like about 5 years when he was a teenager, and then his family moved back. And his dad still lives here. And when we got married in 2010 is when I moved down here. So yeah, 10 years. It'll be 10 years in September that I've been down here.
Oh, wow. And what made you come down here?
I got married.
Oh, you got married.
Yes, yep.
How did you meet him then?
We met online.
Oh, okay.
It was like a Christian online dating website. But funny enough, so I actually knew his sister from,
wow. Okay.
1999. We were pen pals, wrote actual handwritten letters to each other.
Oh, wow.
And I came down here to Scottsdale for his sister's wedding in 1999. And so I met Chris, but we didn't click. There are no fireworks or anything amazing like that. And I went home. I kind of emailed his sister a little bit back and forth, but then we just lost touch. And then, so when he sent me this message on the dating website, this was in, I'm getting my date, 2019.
Okay.
I'm like, wait a minute, Chris Tingom, I know you.
2009 then.
20, would be 20, no, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know what day it is or
it's
year
okay.
or anything. Yes. 2009.
Yes.
Yeah. When he sent me the message, and I was like, wait a minute, I know you. And he's like, oh, that's funny. I remember you too. So we kind of, from there, it was like instant connection, because we had this little history a little bit with his sister and just family wise. And we dated and got engaged and got married in less than a year. So.
Wow. Well, well, we might have to add something to the list here. So my husband and I, we both were on dating websites, but we didn't meet each other on a dating website. We knew someone, we met because I knew people he worked with. And so they set us up. And we got engaged and married within like a year and a half. So, but we both kind of laughed because we were like, we should have met each other by all of our similarities on this dating website that we were both on, but we weren't hooked up. And so we kind of toasted to E-Suckany, so for not matching us up. So
they missed an opportunity.
Yeah. So it was kind of one of those funny things that didn't happen for us, but yeah, well, but
seemed like it worked out okay in the end.
It did. So we were married in 2008. So
okay, cool.
A little bit earlier than you, but
well, your kids are older, so
yeah. So, but that's fun. That's cool. So you guys were both homeschooled. So that's a little different. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah. So my parents started homeschooling me in 4th grade. I went to public school for grades 1 through 3, and they pulled me out for 4th grade. Apparently they didn't like my attitudes. They weren't very happy with that. I don't remember that, but that's the story I'm told. And then I also had 2 younger siblings at the time who were 3 years and 6 years younger than me. So my mom started homeschooling my brother as well. I think he was in 1st grade, and we honestly had a great homeschool experience. I was homeschooled all the way through high school. I think a key in the success was that my mom did find local homeschoolers to connect with. We had a co-op. I remember studying medieval times, and we would go and meet together, read books, and then we'd have a medieval feast together. And there would be a jester, they would be a queen, so it's a lot of hands-on sort of homeschooling and being with people that I think it was a really good way to kind of ease into that. You can't do it alone,
No.
You need that support. So okay. And then Chris, my husband, he was homeschooled from day one.
Oh, wow.
He's a lifer, and he's here in Scottsdale. The same kind of good homeschool experience, a lot of co-ops. His mom actually helped start one of the homeschool co-ops that's still going, Eastside Explorers. I don't know if you've heard of that. It's in Scottsdale, but and that's still a strong support group here. Just, I don't know. We both really liked the homeschool approach of just not self-learning, but, being able to follow your interests and being able to be with other people who are learning the same thing. And I don't know, it was just really, really fun.
Yeah. And so did you know that you wanted to homeschool your kids, or
yes.
You were totally on board with homeschooling?
Pretty much. I mean, it's not out of the question to send them to public school, but we both, Chris and I are both really as long as it's working and we enjoy it, we're going to homeschool. So I love teaching. I'm not a teacher in any way. I don't have a degree. I don't, have any sort of training, but I enjoy learning, and I enjoy learning with my kids and seeing that moment, especially when they're just they get it,
Yes.
I love that. It just makes it all worth it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I never thought I would homeschool. I had our oldest, Munchie, in private preschool back in Connecticut, and I had met a couple homeschoolers, and I was like, these people are kind of strange. They were rolling around on the floor, and they were teenagers, and so I was like, this is a little strange. And they were with their mom, who was teaching a little kids course, and I was like, okay, this is a little bizarre, but okay. And then we moved to Arizona, and Munchie was 4, and he was in a preschool, and it was not working out for him. There was additional fees that they kept tapping into the preschool, and I was paying for him to take a nap there. And I'm thinking, why am I paying for him to take a nap at preschool? And there's this kid who convinced him to tell me that the teacher was hitting him, and we brought him home, and he's telling me this story, and I kept asking questions, and then I realized that he wasn't coming up with this, because I could tell the story kept changing. And then he finally said, no, this other kid told me to tell you this. And I'd met this other kid at our local pool, and I had realized this kid was kind of coming up with some crazy stories. And I was thinking, this isn't good. And Munchie was coming home with these glass beads in his hand too, and he was putting them in his mouth. And I'm thinking, this isn't good that he's having exposure to these without someone watching him. Because, I mean, at least he was developmentally able to realize he shouldn't have them in his mouth, but there were other kids who shouldn't. And so I was thinking, I could be doing this at home. And I had seen a bunch of kids at a park, and I saw them in the middle of the day hanging out. And I was thinking, what are they doing? They should be in school. So I asked, and they were all getting along and doing good things. And they weren't like the homeschoolers I saw back in Connecticut. They were participating together. And so I started asking questions, and they were very welcoming and open to me asking questions about homeschooling. So after all that, I said to my husband, I think I should try this. Yeah. And he goes, all right. I mean, I okay. I mean, my minor was in education, and he's like, yeah, go ahead, see how it comes. And Munchie just picked up on it, and then the other two were doing it, and we're like, okay, let's do it. And then we did it for about 4 years until I had the brain infection when we had to put them in. And that was a killer for me, because I did not want to let them go to school, because it was part of my identity at that point. I was very involved with the homeschooling group. People knew me, and I got super involved with it, and I loved it. And so it was such a good experience. And then, COVID happened, and we got right back into homeschooling, and here we are back in where we were.
Awesome.
I was going to pull them out at the end of the year. I kind of wanted to pull them out at Christmas, but my husband's like, let them stay until the end of the year, finish off with their kids. But I say, God split the difference for us in March.
Right. Just made a decision. Yeah.
I was like, nope, this is your time. So that's kind of where we were. We never thought we'd be homeschoolers, but I think a lot of people become accidental homeschoolers, as it's called. That's what Heidi St. John calls it, accidental homeschooler. Yeah, and they find out they really love it, because you learn so much when your kids are learning. And that's, I mean, I've learned so much, and that my kids have taught me. And patience is one of the biggest ones.
Yes. It's so true. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, and if you're preparing to teach something, you have to absorb it a little more in order to explain it sometimes.
Yes.
So I think that just helps solidify maybe some concepts we did forget in, middle school or high school or even elementary school. I'm like, oh yeah, I did learn that, but how can I explain it to my daughter who's in, entering 4th grade, that you're going to understand it and really grasp it and know it? And that's a daily challenge for me, but we make it work.
Or explain it in a different way so that they can get it. Today we watched Disney Plus, and they have Mars rovers, so we were watching about Mars rovers. And so as one of my neighbors goes, Disney appreciation. You could have just Disney appreciation. So, but they have more than just, the cartoons. So we were having some Disney appreciation, but the science part of Disney appreciation.
No, they have some good animal videos, some good science. I don't know. It's almost like YouTube, but without the ads,
Yeah, exactly. And so I was taking notes to quiz my kids later. And so they're like, oh, Mom. I'm like, no. This is part of learning today.
Yeah, I know. If you're going to sit in front of a TV and watch this, I'm going to quiz you a little bit. Make sure you're learning. Yes.
And why do you think, we're doing some critical thinking? And so they really got into it. So
good for you. Yeah. Way to go.
I didn't take a nap. That was the hardest thing.
Aw, maybe tomorrow.
Probably. So you have a toddler, and so a lot of people have been talking about, I have a toddler at home. What do I do when I'm homeschooling with a toddler?
It's okay. I'm just going to say it's tough. I mean, this week already has been a lot of up and downs. I mean, we had one day where she was basically fussing the entire, hour and a half I was trying to teach. I was even holding her, giving her snacks. It just wasn't working. So we actually had to pause and then just come back to my daughter's schoolwork, because I couldn't focus. I could tell she couldn't focus. Most days though, she does pretty well. And I kind of alternate between a few things. One of them is I have this bin of toys / toddler appropriate activities that I only bring out during school time.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, she likes stacking blocks right now. So I have a couple different sizes, and that keeps her entertained for 10 minutes, which is basically, gold for a homeschool mom in 10 minutes. Snacks is a big thing. I'm going to be honest. I feed her snacks. And even if she just had breakfast, which does help, because we try to start school right after breakfast, because she's full, she's happy, and usually she's content to play by herself for a while. But yeah, snacks. My 5 will play with her as well. They've been into building forts, so they'll go in there and, read books and, play stuffed animals. So that helps as well. I'll just hold her. I mean, she learned, so homeschooling is kind of like a family thing. You learn all together. So if my 5-year-old's hanging out, I know he's going to pick up on something. If my toddler's next to me, yes, she's not going to understand everything, but she's picking up on words and voice inflections. And I don't know, I'm content with her being in my lap, snuggling, just listening. And I know that's helping her grow as well.
Right.
We've tried doing school during nap time, but I prefer nap time to be me time. Mom needs a break, so nap time is kind of, I try to leave that for me, and not do school. Man, what else do? We kind of just survive.
Yeah. I know sensory tables, if they're old enough for that, it depends on their age and what the sensory table is. Like, I used to bring the water table inside and have noodles with all of my cups, and I would just give them all of my cups and stuff. And it was a mess. Like, if you expect your house to be clean, I did it with shredded paper once.
No,
and we found shredded paper
don't do that.
for like a year and a half. No lie. Shredded paper was all over the house. So
I believe
don't
it.
take it from me. If you don't want to find shredded paper for the rest of your life, maybe don't do that.
Well, water's a good sensory bin, and you don't have to make it deep. You can get like a plastic Tupperware tub and fill it, with a little bit of water, put some toys in there, put a towel maybe underneath it. But my daughter loves that. It's just splashing, playing with little rubber duckies, toys, little people toys, Fisher Price. I don't know, anything. Or I've done Play-Doh with her. She doesn't eat stuff, so that's good. But I'll do Play-Doh in the high chair so I can see her and keep an eye on her, but she can also fiddle with the Play-Doh or just stick her fingers and everything. And that works too. But
I know that's been a big thing for people who have toddlers, is what do you do with a toddler? And it's just tough. And so, and we were talking about this too before, was where do you homeschool?
Everywhere.
I
mean, literally couch, table, the kitchen table, the kitchen counter. We've done that. When it's nice out, we'll go outside. We've even gone to the park. I mean, we've taken a couple books, even school books, and gone to the park when the weather's nice, and just the kids can do a little bit of work, but then go play and then come back maybe and finish something. It's I don't know. I don't really think there's a wrong place to homeschool. Maybe the bathtub, but I don't know if it works for you. I think kids should be comfortable. Yes, I try to have my kids have food in their bellies and get dressed to a certain degree, maybe comb their hair. Just, I don't know. You need to just feel awake if you're going to try to learn. So I don't know. That's one thing I do try to do, but otherwise I don't try to replicate anything as far as, I don't know, uniform or a certain place. It just doesn't work for us. But I know some families that need a desk, to work at. And so if that works for you, do it, That's great.
We do it at the kitchen table. We have a kitchen counter. Our next door neighbor gave us these beautiful chairs she didn't want anymore for our stools. Nice. So we have the kitchen counter. Then the dining room table has been taken over by Legos. And sometimes if our oldest is getting tired of his brother and sister, he goes in there. And if he gets tired of the noise, he goes upstairs to his room. And sometimes if there's something going on outside that they want to keep an eye on, they'll go outside. And sometimes they'll go in the backyard. I mean, we kind of do whatever. I've even heard people who've brought their stuff. If they have a pool, they'll bring it outside. They'll do a little schoolwork. They'll jump in the pool. They'll come out. And I'm like, hey, you know what? If it works for you, if they need to get out the wiggles, then do that. That's cool too. Like, and if we're really messy, they have to do it now on our kitchen counter, because we got a new table, and I'm like, we are not going to ruin my kitchen table now.
Careful. Yes.
Careful with the kitchen table. Do not ruin the kitchen table. So,
yeah. Well, and it's too, I think as kids get a little more independent, like I remember as a high schooler, I would go to my room at my desk and do schoolwork there. So I think it depends on the ages of your kids as well. And if you have younger ones, you know, you do want a little more, I don't know, quietness to study, or, you know, I needed quiet to do math because I'm not very good at math. But yeah, I think it depends on the ages of your kids as well, where you do school. That helps. Yeah.
Yeah. And I know like our kitchen, our experiments, we do that sometimes outside on the driveway. That's like our favorite place, but we just have to be mindful. My husband works from home. Your husband works from home. So we also have to be mindful of the noise level sometimes. Is one other thing is like, okay, make sure the noise is not messing with them. So.
Well, and I'm sure everyone's kind of dealing with that to some level. There's lots of, you know, parents working from home now that are also trying to school. So it is a real struggle, I think, for pretty much every family right now.
Do you use anything online for online resources for your kids?
YouTube, Disney Plus? No, not really. This year we're doing, I say textbooks, but it's more of an open and go type curriculum because it's what works for us right now. And I don't feel like I have a lot of brain power with a toddler to plan stuff. So we're pretty much just open and go type curriculum and don't really do much online. But I know you do, don't you?
So I've used Reading Eggs. So that's
right. Yeah.
Yeah. So Reading Eggs has been great to get my kids reading. I'm trying to remember how my oldest learned how to read. And I think it was Bob Books. And he just like innately kind of figured out how to read. But I had, 3 kids, 3 and under at one point, and my brain cells sort of gave up on
they do.
And I'm like, he learned how to read and he just like kind of took off and, okay, there he's reading.
That was my oldest too. She just, I kind of remember teaching her a little, but same thing. She just kind of learned it and went, and now she's a voracious reader. Like I just can't keep enough books in front of her. It's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then the other 2 was Reading Eggs, and that's been a phenomenal program to teach them how to read. And so when Giggles went into the public school system for that short time, her reading was way, way, way higher than the average. They do all these Dibbles testing, and of course they had to explain all of this to me, and I'm like, hey, what are you talking about? They're like, oh, you don't have to do testing. And so that's the other thing, you don't have to do any of these tests, none of the state requirements, but you can test if you want to. So have you ever done any of the tests?
I have not. My mom did homeschooling us though. I remember she did it like at the end of every school year, and it was mostly for her own personal reference. Okay, what did they what did my kids grasp this year? What did what gaps we might have? What do we need to focus on for next year? And she really liked that. I remember taking tests every year, mostly like I think all through high school too. And I don't know, but I have 5 siblings, so I'm not sure what she did with the younger ones after I graduated. My mom homeschooled for 28 years. I mean, can you imagine that? Like, I admire that so much. That is dedication. That is just a real, I don't know, that's a real spirit right there.
It is.
For 28 years, but anyway, yeah.
Wow.
We did some tests. So.
Yeah. I know Covenant Resource Homeschool Center has offered tests, and there's some that you can do online too. So if that's something that you're thinking of, you can do the test, and it's not the Ames or the AZ Merit. You can do other tests.
Yes, and I've seen just like general assessment tests. Like, okay, if you want to know, reading comprehension or whatever, I've seen just basic ones like that. It's not like you have to cover all the subjects. You can just focus on one subject to see what your child might know or not know.
Yeah, and helpful. Yeah, Reading Eggs does that too. So that's been really helpful to know the kids where they were at. So, and it was like $50 for the year, and you can print off worksheets. So that's been helpful. Yeah, and so that was really my youngest and Giggles and Dimples. That was their phonics and reading comprehension. So, but now they're moving on. So, and mostly we do workbooks and stuff, and then a lot of videos with, themes that they want to do, and we're doing the good and the beautiful.
Okay.
One of the things we did the free one that they offer, the marine biology, and that was way too far advanced for them. So even with trying to fix it and bring it down, it was too far ahead. I don't know. Did you try their marine biology?
No, I've done their language arts and math.
Okay.
But not the science or marine biology stuff. No.
Yeah, the marine biology was way too advanced. So I was trying to get it to work with them, and I was like, hey, that's not going to work.
It's not worth it. You can work with curriculum sometimes, but sometimes it's just better to find something that is a little more on their level or comprehension and go with that.
Yeah, we're doing their space now, and it's working. And then there's a lot of videos about space, so and they're very interested in space, so that's
cool.
helpful.
Go with it, yeah.
So we're doing that, so it's fun, and we're trying their history. We'll see. What are you doing for history?
Master books.
Okay.
We're doing master books for language arts, math, and history. Yes.
Okay.
American history.
Okay.
I'll probably switch over later in the year to a couple other subjects, but we're finishing some other curriculum now, and it's working. So I'm just like, you know what? Let's just go with that. And plus, I hate leaving things unfinished.
Yeah.
If we can finish it, let's just do it.
Yeah. And you guys school year round too?
We do. Yeah. I like to do kind of like 6 weeks or so, and then take a week off.
Mm-hmm.
And then 6 more weeks, take a week off. And then come winter, I'm planning, 2 months off. And when the weather's nice and hopefully things are a little more open, we can go, and I know, right? Cross everything you can find.
Yeah.
Even just to go to a playground and go hiking, our nature stuff would be a really big, I think, boost and just a fun and a way to learn as well. You can learn on a hike. We've seen so much wildlife, so much, maybe too much. We've seen a rattlesnake. We don't want to see that again. But our nature centers, I hope, are open. I don't know. I love hands-on, out and about learning. So I'm hoping that'll be back later in the year, early next year.
Yeah. And I know on one of the groups we were kind of talking about co-op. So are you part of a co-op at all?
We are. We're part of a co-op through our church. And then and they meet twice a month. And then we're also part of a hiking nature group that meets twice a month. So between those two, I feel like we get, we have 2 different groups of people. We can socialize, 2 different things to do as well, and just different activities. And I don't know, we really enjoy it. And the hiking group goes kind of everywhere. Sometimes they go up to Sedona, if it's a little too warm in Phoenix yet. But yeah. It's been really a really good balance of the church co-op is classes like, science class or art class, that sort of thing. And then the other group is just more nature based. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I really like it. It's worked well for us.
Are they meeting or no?
I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
It's kind of, like everything else, it's kind of up in the air. I think the hiking group is making plans, but it's all dependent, obviously, on how many people want to show up and everything else going on. So
yeah. Did you join? Did you join the co-op right away when the kids were little, or did you wait a little while?
That's a good question. We tried a couple other co-ops when the kids were younger, but they all met in the East Valley. We're in Scottsdale. So it was like, a 40-minute drive for us. And while the co-ops themselves were great, I have no complaints about them. I just felt like I wanted a group that was a little more local and people that we could hang out with without driving, halfway across town. You get that,
Absolutely.
you need your local group of support and friends. So yeah, we were kind of without any co-op. We had homeschooling friends, but we just didn't have a co-op for about a year or so. And then we found these other 2 groups that we really love. So
yeah, I think that's important too, because you want to see people that you can see often, because otherwise you're not going to have those budding friendships that you could see the kids on a regular basis. If they really click, you're not going to be like, oh yeah, let's get together. Oh, it's a 2-hour drive back and forth. It's not going to work. So
no. And it's hard right now too, because as you know, some things are open, some things aren't, and not everyone's comfortable hanging out, socializing. So it's, even for us full-time homeschoolers, it's different. It's not the same as we remember, earlier this year, and we're having to adjust. We're having to just kind of hang in there as much as everyone else schooling right now. It's not easy.
Yeah. Well, we were going to join a co-op and they're going all online, but my kids hadn't really met all of the people before. And so we're like, well, if they knew the people before, then they could maybe go, but they didn't meet the people before. So
Yeah.
it was awkward. And so
it is. Yeah.
I'm like, well, we'll just wait until we could actually meet them all in person. So I'm like, we're not going to do the online.
Well, give it a couple more months. Maybe things will change.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've always been part of the social groups. So
yeah.
So I'm a big one for the social groups.
You are very social. Yeah.
Just slightly. Little tad. I can't go to the mailbox without like having a 45-minute conversation. I was just like, where did you go?
Aw, that's great though.
Oopsie. Went to get the mail. So, and do your kids play any sports at all?
We don't. No. Thought about actually this past spring, I was going to start the kids in a sports homeschool PE group that meets at a park nearby. And then of course the world changed. So
yeah,
maybe come fall, I don't know. We'll see where we're at with that, but no, we don't really do any sports or music classes I wanted my daughter to start piano, so we might look into that.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where you just kind of have to wait and see what happens with all of this.
It is. I mean, there are a lot of opportunities. Like in a normal world, I think Phoenix has a lot of, co-ops or groups or just ways to connect to other people, so you're not having to go solo at it all the time. And there you can put your kids in extracurricular activities if you want. It's there. So.
Yeah. And there's a lot of places that have even opened up during the day. So you're not waiting until the end of the day to do things. So I know a lot of places have been very open to having a group come in during the day for dance classes or sports classes, as long as you have enough people who are willing to come in. And I know a lot of the like pumpkin patches, they were willing to have us come during the day, and I'm thinking, I hope they open up, but I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. But like field trips, they've been great for homeschoolers too. Of course, we kind of have to see what happens with COVID too. So, and especially if you're part of a homeschool social group, and I know there's probably going to be a lot more springing up, hopefully, with everything.
So too, yeah.
Everything going on. So, what else is there? What else should we talk about and let people know?
I don't know.
Is there a perfect homeschool day? No.
Never. I consider it a good day actually if we can get through my lesson plan for the day with minimal crying from the toddler, minimal interruptions, and I feel like that my daughter has grasped at least one thing. Like she really clicked with something. To me, that's a good homeschool day. Yeah. And then the rest of the day, I mean, we learn throughout the day though. We read a lot. We talked about watching videos, on YouTube. To us, that's learning as well. Like, I don't know. And my daughter will go and work on a story that she's been writing on and off by herself. But to me, that's school too. Schoolwork is not just sitting at a table doing worksheets. It extends to so much more. And I don't know, if I counted all the moments that we schooled, it would be, I don't know, most of the day, I guess. Legos is school. Like, I don't know. It's incredible how much you when you think about it, that your kid is learning and developing and just, I don't know. I love it.
Yeah. It's not just sitting there, doing the worksheets, like you said, if you're cooking and they're asking you about the recipe, like now we have Giggles, she has to look up recipes for dinner, and she has to send them to me via email so that I can put them in the grocery list.
Great idea.
Because I'm tired. It was actually my husband's idea, so I can't take credit, because I am tired of looking up recipes and menu planning. is the death of me right now. I tell you the truth. I'm tired of looking up for food. And she's tired of the same old thing. So Scott goes, you know what? This is going to be her chore. She has to look up recipes. And so now she has to email it to me. So that's her emailing, cutting, pasting, and she has to find them and send it to me. And she helps me cook dinner. So, and the boys can help too. It's not like we're not trying to be like sexist about it, but she was the one who was complaining the most. So now it's on her list of things to do. So, doing something like that, or, we're driving in the car and our youngest is starting to read. Of course, we drive by a Hooters and he's asking about that. And so sometimes that brings up questions we don't want to talk about, but.
No, but it sounds like what you're doing is a lot of just practical life lessons and teaching. And I mean, that's another plus I love about homeschooling is just the ability to, yes, you need to teach your child about math. You need to teach them how to read and write. Those are definitely important. I'm not knocking those at all. But homeschooling is also about the life skills. Yeah. And I don't know, I love being involved in that. And I love just knowing that my child will be able, hopefully, to cook, and do laundry or, balance a checkbook, change a tire, all these things that will help them be a successful adult is easily learned through homeschooling.
Yeah. Everyone knows how to do laundry in my house now.
Right. Good for you.
Oh yeah. I'm like, let's get on this laundry business because mom is not the maid. That should be written across, like in scrolling letters across my house. Mom is not the maid. So yeah, and that's another thing. How much time do you spend homeschooling?
Well, my she's third, fourth grade, and probably about an hour and a half a day is what we do. My son, he's 5, kind of kindergarten, maybe 20, 30 minutes. And we do that about 3 times a day. But I don't really do a lot with him yet just because, well, he's a boy and he's all energy and just, it's hard to make him sit. Yes. Yeah. So I'm a big component of just not doing a curriculum with little ones like that until 6 or 7. Just everyday moments can be teaching, colors, numbers, learning your address, whatever can be done through play. And so that's what I try to do. And then once they get, first, second, third grade is when I'm like, okay, let's buckle down a little bit, get good study habits, because that's important too. But it doesn't take us long at all. I mean, we're done usually in, an hour and a half, 2 hours max. And then the rest of the day is free.
And then you have to fill it with something.
Yes, this is true. And it's hot out and like, what do we do? I know. That's another thing. It's like, yay, we finished school by 9. Now what? We can go swimming. We can call grandma and grandpa on the phone. Like, it's hard. It's really hard.
Yeah, especially because our places aren't open that you and I would usually be zooming to. And that's the hard thing. But we're done same time. And I think people think we're crazy when we say, like an hour and a half, we're done. And I mean, my kids, they were in school and they were out and I would tell the teachers, how long I spent, and they're like, really? An hour and a half? And I said, that's it. What? And I said, that's it.
Well, it's like, you don't realize the value of one-on-one teaching. Like you don't need an hour for something that you could just spend with them focused for 15 minutes. Like it's so different. It's a different way to approach it. And you probably have actually the benefit of, you could teach history to all 3 at once and then have different projects or whatever that they would do on their level to continue that. Whereas I'm not quite there yet, but I'm sure you could, you probably have that benefit of knocking things out easier.
Sometimes I'm like, okay, Dimples, we gotta wrap it in. He's like, huh? Sometimes he kind of drifts off and I'm like, come on, bring it back. But then Munchie will re-explain it to him. I mean,
that's actually great.
Yeah, Munchie did the whole science lesson on space the other day to Dimple. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go.
You're done. Go do something else.
Like, all right, he's gonna explain the rings around Saturn and the gravitational pull, and I'm like, you got this. All right.
Well,
hey.
that means you did a good job teaching him then. You were successful. That's great.
I didn't even teach him that. He read it in a book and he was
well, there
teaching
you
him.
go.
But I taught him to read somehow.
Yes.
So I'm like, A for mom right there.
Right. Oh, yes. That's a moment that'll make you proud forever. Yes.
I know, right? I'm like, oh, it's good. This is good stuff. I'm like, I'm just going to sit here and, take it all in, because you don't get so many of those moments. And then they're fighting again, having a wrestling match, blissful moments.
Right. Well, here's a question for you then. What would you say to someone who is considering homeschooling, or maybe has just jumped in? What are like top, what are two things you recommend to parents in the beginning of homeschooling?
Not to set your expectations too high and to jump in like, okay, this is going to be my day, and jump in with every single subject. Because I think when people do that and they buy all the materials and they're gung-ho with everything, and they realize their kid doesn't mesh with this type of learning, or you can't sit them down for 30 minutes to do this type of thing. It's overwhelming for the kid, it's overwhelming for the parent, and then the relationship just hits a brick wall. So I think, there's that deschooling idea.
Yes.
And that's like a big thing. And I think people kind of balk at that. They go, but my kid needs to learn. They need to learn right now. I have to get them back into the school thought process. I think maybe just getting a math worksheet, you can go on Teachers Pay Teachers and get like one math sheet, or, watch a video together, like we did the Mars rover. Watch something that they're interested in, ask the kid what they're interested in, and pick a video and just talk about it with them, and start slowly from there.
No, that's great. That's probably what I would have said too. And read. You can learn so much by reading. You can cover all the subjects you would ever want to, any topic, anything you'd ever want to learn through reading. And what I love right now is I think most libraries aren't open, right? I don't know if you can go in, but most do curbside pickup. So you can go online on your library's website, order books, and I think we do go once a week at least, pick up books. Oh, 3. Okay, you got us
3 times a week. They recognize me. It's like Cheers there. I'm like, hey, they're like, "Hello." I'm like, have you memorized my card number lately? And they're like, no, not yet.
Give them another week. They will. That's great. No, reading opens up so many awesome things. And,
it does. Like there's the Who Was books. Those are really cute. Yes. And they're really funny, except you have to watch out for the Michael Jackson book. That one was a little dicey. If you
I haven't gotten to that one. No.
Yeah, they talk about his accusations. That one kept Munchie up. He came running to our door and started asking about that. So
good teaching moment. Nice.
He was 8 at the time, so that was a little bit much. So I was like, oh, okay. All right, well. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, I was like, I could have done the Holocaust better than this one, but okay. Yeah, there's a one about the Holocaust. There's that I took out, the witch trials. I just took out for the kids. I mean, the Michael Jackson one threw me for a loop. He picked that one out himself when the library was open. So, that one was fudge. Yeah, there's just so many books that we've taken out. They're reading all the Diary of a Wimpy Kid right now, but
we haven't gotten into those.
Yeah. There's so many books. Yeah, you can read so many Indian of the Cupboard books. They like those.
Oh yeah, series. And there's so many. If you search, book lists, reading lists for your reading level or grade level, there's so many awesome resources. You'll never be lacking for ideas.
Yeah, and there's Goodreads. Are your kids on Goodreads?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
so then you could track what books they've read, because I can't remember. They think I can remember the books they've read. I can't remember what I had for breakfast this morning. So.
Well, they can do it. They're old enough.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if I don't have the Goodreads, they can't remember either. So because I have to input that, and then you always sign up for the Maricopa Reads contest
Yes,
too.
we
But that's
did
almost
that.
over. Yeah, I'm sure your daughter is up there with points too, right?
Yes, she exceeded. I think she just met the level, like, I don't know, a couple weeks in. It was crazy.
Yeah,
She'll just keep reading. And
yeah,
I had to add prizes because we can't get our prizes yet. At least we
yeah.
can't, and for another
No,
couple weeks. So I told her, okay, well, I'll get you a book if you read, up to this level. If you read up to this level, we'll get another Lego set. Just motivating her. It worked. It worked.
don't tell my daughter that.
Okay, I won't.
um, is there anything else do you think that people should know?
Probably, but I can't think of it.
I know people have asked about going back into school, the school
Yes,
system.
which you would probably be
Yeah.
better at answering that than I would, because I don't know.
So they never tested my kids at all when they went back in. They could test the kids. If you have a kid who's going into high school, you want to keep a transcript for sure.
Yes.
But if you have kids that are under high school age, you don't need to keep a transcript. They'll probably just put your kids in with the age level they're at, or whatever age or grade you think that they would be at. So my daughter, she skipped kinder because I homeschooled her for kinder, and they just put her in first grade. She had no problems. And Munchie, they put in fourth grade. And he had no problems. They didn't really ask
Great.
for anything. The only issue we had was trying to find his shot record because the pediatrician had closed, and so his shots were kind of lost for a little bit. But that was the biggest issue that we had, and of course I was ill, so
Right.
yeah.
Aw.
So that was really the biggest issue. I mean, you don't really have to keep records. I think you said you kind of keep a little bit of stuff.
Yeah, but mostly just, I don't know, after the semester's done, I kind of just go through any paperwork we had and maybe keep a little bit here and there, just
Mhm.
because, okay, this goes back to when my mom first started homeschooling. We lived in Illinois at the time, and there were some rules that you had to show proof that work that your child was doing and
Mhm.
record keeping. So I remember my mom doing that, and to me, and my mom always said that she would always probably do that no matter where we lived or whatever, just because I think it would help if someone did come and ask, okay, are you really teaching your children? What are they
Yeah.
learning? It's
Yeah.
like, okay, here's proof. And it would just make it easier and less of a stress if you did have something. So I just personally do that.
Mhm.
But once when we start a new grade or whatever, I just throw away the old paperwork because
Yeah.
to me, it doesn't, why do I want to keep stuff from first grade when she's going to go into fourth? But to me, that
Yeah.
doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Or if there's something cool that she drew, then I might keep it. But otherwise, yeah, I just keep a little bit just for my own peace of mind.
Yeah.
But you don't have to in Arizona at all.
No.
No proof. Well, you have to send in the letter when you first start homeschooling, that you're going to do it. But otherwise, no record keeping, and don't have to report to anyone.
Yeah. It's nice. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a bin for them putting all their papers in, and it's just a huge mess, and they just put it in the blue bin, and then I will shred it at some point.
Yep, right. But it's there if you were to need something.
It is there. It's in the garage, and they just chuck it in there, and I can tell whose it is by that, and eventually I'll shred it. And I don't know. I feel bad like just throwing it out right then. And so
Yeah, that's right. Oh, good job. A+. Here, put it in the bin.
like if I just threw it out like right then after I say, "Oh, you did a great job," and I just chuck it, and they get really sensitive to that. So I'm like, put it in the blue bin in the garage. So then they don't get sensitive to me throwing it right out. And so it kind of saves me some explanation. So
That's probably a good idea. Well, I just remembered I like actually saving some work because then I can show my daughter, oh, look how your handwriting used to be.
yeah,
If she's getting discouraged or I don't know, math wise,
yeah,
oh, look this, a year ago, this is what you were doing. And that was,
mhm,
a struggle for you, but now
yeah,
it's not. So I think
yeah,
it could help also encourage a child as well,
yeah,
just to see how far they've come and what they are learning and that
yeah.
they are. they're a smart kid,
Yeah. Yeah. I have writing notebooks that they have to do writing prompts and stuff in.
Oh, that'd
And
be a good thing. Yeah.
yeah. And so they have that so we can see their how they've improved in writing, both neatness and
Yes.
and their writing quality. So that's pretty much how we're engaging with that. But that's about that. So I don't know. And yeah, field trips are great if you can go
I
on field
know.
trips for fun. And you can learn so much. Like a lot of people have asked about fun things to do. Pinterest. You have a
Yeah.
Pinterest board too, right?
So yes, I'm not 100% like, I don't know what's on there, but there's stuff on there. I probably should take a look. It's been a month or two.
Oh, okay. That's not too bad to
Yeah.
leave your Pinterest alone. That's
Right.
fine.
But there are a few things open in Phoenix. Like actually,
Yeah.
we just went to the Odyssey Aquarium and Butterfly Wonderland earlier this week. And the aquarium, especially as far as like, of course you had to wear a mask and, take every temperature taken, but I was surprised that they had the touch tank open for the stingrays. And that was really fun. And the guy talking was very good at sharing information, answering our questions. I'm like, check, school done, that was a great field trip.
That's awesome.
There are some places that are open. I know the Science Museum isn't open and Children's Museum isn't, but there are places that you could go and have a good field trip, I feel like.
Yeah, I know Rooster Cogburn Ostrich Ranch was open. I don't know if they're open again.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hot too.
Yeah, it is hot. And Medieval Times, you posted they're open today.
Yes, they just opened today. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. So that's, you can have a dinner too. You were talking about your dinner.
Yes, eat with your fingers.
Yes.
And watch. Go ahead.
Or like the people who did next to me, they brought their own plastic utensils.
Are you serious? Oh, my kids were like, yay, fingers.
The people next to me, they gave me some silverware. I was like, thank you. I really appreciate that. So I gave them my drink tickets.
Nice. Oh, that's a good trade.
It was. They benefited. So, and I don't drink, so it worked out very well for both of us.
There you go.
So
well, I think Sea Life is open too.
Yes, they are.
Legoland, Discovery Place. I consider that a field trip.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. I can't think what else, but people can contact you or me and ask questions. We'll be happy to direct them to places they could go, things to do.
The zoo, drive through the zoo.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
And Bearzona is open.
Yes.
So out of Africa. So yeah,
the Prescott Zoo I've heard is open too. You could go there.
The herpetological something.
Oh, in Scottsdale.
Oh, maybe or something. Oh no, it's the Prescott one. That's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Yeah. So one of my friends just went there. I'm like trying to remember who posted what, where.
Who was that?
Yeah, who was it? Grand Canyon.
Yes.
Grand Canyon's always nice. So.
And give it a couple months, and I'm hoping that other things will be open. Plus, it'll be just nice to be outside, and
it will.
You can hike and do that as well.
Oh, and we went to Meteor Crater too. So
that's right. Yes, the big hole in the ground.
A big hole in the ground. Yes, it made a great impression.
Yeah.
So, I had to do it. That's it. But if you guys have any questions about homeschooling, you have the two of us to write to. I'm sure Jana is open for answering questions, and she's going to post this on her Facebook page. I'm going to post it on mine, and we're here for you guys. And if you need any information about where to go or what to do or how to keep your kids sane, I don't know if
I don't know if we can help with that, but
kind of still sane, right? I don't know.
Sure.
Yeah.
We're laughing, we're smiling. We must have something right?
Yeah, or we're just laughing from the insanity. I don't know.
Yes.
We're dealing with it well. Yeah. So, well, thank you so much for doing this with me, and hopefully we'll alleviate any fears of parents. And that's what we're here for. That there's no perfect homeschooling, right? It's just going through the day and seeing what happens.
Yes, and making little things work, and I don't know. Ask any questions. There's no stupid questions, no small questions. It's all good. Just ask away. We're here if we can help.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Jana.
Yeah. Thanks, Vicki.